Hey everybody! So glad to have you here today. Martha Krejci, and I am here with Kari Lyn, and I am not even going to say her last name. You're going to find out why here in just a second. You may understand yourself what this story feels like, and having gone through this may feel very similar or familiar to you. So Kari Lyn, thank you so much for joining me today. She's a author on my Invincible Family project. So the very first volume of the Invincible Family project, our entire goal with this project is to put in front of you families that are doing things differently, that are not necessarily following this narrative that you have to do X, Y, and Z in order to be successful in life. What does success really look like? How are we boxing that up? Is it even in a box? There's a whole thing around the Invincible Family Project, which is just so cool. Kari Lyn, would you tell us what the beginning of the chapter that you wrote, where were you at? What was going on with you? What did you feel like in that space?
First of all, it was a challenge to write, honestly. I felt I needed to write it for some catharsis for myself, but honestly, I started over 3 times completely. I trashed the first two and said both times said I'm not doing this. I'm gonna let them all know that I can't write this, and then I started again. And then that came up. The What's in the book is that third and final try, which finally released a lot of all of the stuff going on inside me as I'm just processing what's happening. And it all came, it all happened in one. I don't, sometimes my words just fail me, but
That's okay.
you grow up with all these dreams that you've had for your life. And succeeded with some of that. I went off to college. I finished that. My parents were first in their families to go off to college, and so we followed suit. And then, the next thing is getting married and having a job. Well, I got the job, and I tried several things, but that marriage thing didn't come, and it just took a while. So I was 42 when I first got married, and I thought, this is it. I have a family with children. It didn't turn out that way, and so. All of these things happened at once, a divorce, a job change, a move, a waking up and finding out that everything that I thought I had worked for and worked towards was gone. And I found myself unable to live on my own because of the debt that was left behind and all left for me. And I had 3 dachshunds, and that's all I had. And so I moved in with my folks. They were great. They were very supportive, and they've been helping. And it's been a long, slow climb out of that. But instead of going back and looking for that, what I thought was the ideal job was not my passion anymore. And I had opportunity to dig into something that I'd forgotten about. And I first jumped into aromatherapy. I jumped into some kind of massage techniques, learning facial reflexology. And then a friend of mine, an oily friend of mine, introduced me to this crazy lady, Martha. I mean, the first time I saw your video, I went, who is this? Who is this person? Oh my gosh. Oh, wow, that was really good. Oh my goodness. I did not know about all of this. It's just like my mind was blown, and I think I sat there for, I don't know, a couple of months going, just, blinking around, looking, thinking, okay, this totally makes a huge mind shift for me. I can go look at doing something totally unimaginable. And then this book thing popped. I mean, I just jumped in wherever I could.
Yeah.
and and I think I've been sinking more than swimming sometimes, just because I love to learn. I rediscovered loving to learn, and I wanted to try out all the things. And oh my goodness, that's fascinating. Oh, that's cool too. And yeah, it's that squirrel.
Yep. How many people relate to that, right?
Oh
Comment right
yeah,
now if you're watching this and you relate to that, where you're like, yeah, this is interesting, and this is interesting, and this is interesting. And the cool thing is that we're all big kids. At the end of the day, we all just geek out on some stuff and then just go full force into it,
Yes.
which is
Yes.
awesome, except for when it becomes self-sabotage, right? Except for when it
Yeah.
becomes, I need to learn this in order to do this. I
Right.
need to be certified in this in order to do this. And that's where we start not serving ourselves. I have a really
Right.
big, like my thought on education, because I study stuff every single day. My thoughts on education is that we should educate ourselves a certain amount of the time. For me, it's 25% of my time that I'm spending on anything every day. 25% is educating myself, 75% is implementing. So I'm learning every day, but I also make sure I have that time that I'm implementing, because if we're not careful, we can spend all our time educating and
Yes.
preparing for this
Yes.
life, right? That the life
Right.
just keeps getting put off, you know?
It does.
Our impact
Yeah.
keeps getting put off. Yeah.
You're right, and that has been probably the biggest lesson that I've learned. Just because everything was so new to me, it was completely different from being a teacher and then a facilitator for teachers and administrators in school districts. That the training is easy, curriculum, writing out stuff, things like that is easy, but the knowledge of just owning your business to know how all the pieces and parts go together, so that the behind the scenes is working, nice and neat while you are out there being your best person, your best self, your best person that you can be, and sharing that story that other people can identify with and say, hey, that makes sense. And maybe it is possible to do something completely different. And let me tell you, it is.
Yes. Oh, I love it. And so you went from, to talk about the beginning of your chapter, you went from thinking, because you got married at 32, right?
42.
42. Okay. So you got
Yeah.
married at 42. Thank you for correcting me on that. You get married at 42 and you think, okay, well, probably, I mean, I would think because of the age that you would be like, okay, well, this is it, because I've waited so
Yeah.
long, I know what I'm doing, like
Right.
I'm not a 20-year-old getting married and who knows how that's going to work out. But
Right.
you get married and then you think like, okay, this is it. This is where I start this part of my life. This is where I invest. This is where I
Right.
invest in this family and everything. And then to have that fall apart on you, and then everything that you were starting to invest in it, or not starting to, but were investing in it, then felt like maybe wasted time, right? Like maybe it just felt like, gosh, what just
Yes.
happened there? And then
Yes.
in reality, what I hope that people that are listening to this understand is the things that happen to us that really feel like they're pulling the rug out from under us are, they're happening to us because, and this is my opinion, they're happening to us because we need to have that experience under our belt to truly be able to serve other people that are going through that same thing. So
Right.
to be able to look back on something that broke our heart open, to be able
Mm-hmm.
to look back on something like that, and instead of being upset about it, being able to be grateful. To be
Yes.
grateful for that, because it means now that we can use that moving forward to help other people and to create massive positive impact in the world. And that's what you're doing. I appreciate you for writing your chapter, and I appreciate you for doing what you're doing and just standing up and making it
Thank you.
happen, because that's what this world needs. That's why you're in this book, we need women especially to be able to stand up and say, like, here's what I'm doing. So it'd be very easy for me to do X, Y, and Z, which is what most people do. What I'm
Mm-hmm.
choosing instead is to do this. Here's what that looks like, and give basically a file of what that looks like
Mm-hmm.
to other women going through the same thing, and showing them there's growth. There's serious growth and positive impact on the other side of what they're going through. So I appreciate you writing it. And you guys, to be able to grab this book that I'm talking about, again, it's the Invincible Family Project is what it's called. It's the first volume of it. To be able to get that, the link is in the description of this video, so you can just go ahead and click on that. Make sure that you read Kari Lyn's chapter, and then read everybody else's chapter as well, because this is all, you may know somebody that you could see in another one of those chapters, and in which case, if you do, make sure you lend your book to them. Make sure that you allow them to really be able to see themselves in this, because the world is shifting, and we're a really big part of it. We're on the spearhead of it, and I think Kari Lyn would agree with me. We're happy to be there.
Yes. Yes,
Yeah.
definitely.
So what would you suggest to somebody as like a last thing? What would you suggest to somebody that's kind of just on the fence about grabbing the book at all? What would you suggest to them? What would you say to them?
Well, I tell them how the feelings I struggled with when I first volunteered and asked to be a part of the book, and then second guessed myself because it talked about the Invincible family and being divorced and a single female again. I thought, well, I don't have children. I don't have a family. How's that? But you do. You may have your parents, you may have
Yeah.
siblings, you have aunts and uncles, cousins. That's your family. Or you may have close friends who are your family. And those are your family that are stronger together with you, that are supporting you and encouraging you. And I have a semi truckload full. I don't, so hard to count. I'm so grateful to have the many friends and encouragers that I do. And so that's what I would say. It's not just, you can be single, never been married, single again, divorced, or perhaps widowed, but you're still part of the family. And this book will speak to you in so many different levels with the different experiences these wonderful women have gone through and survived and surpassed. It's been an incredible experience.
Oh, that's great. That's awesome. Thank you so much. Everybody, you guys have the best day. Kari Lyn, I will see you around, you know that.
Okay.
And grab the books, and the link is in the description of this video. We will see you again next time. Bye-bye.
See you. Bye bye.